Hi there. Video diary of a grieving father. Today I had to tell somebody in my office that I kind of wasn't okay. And then I told them what happened. That sucked. And another time today, I was hanging with a colleague and giving him advice as if I'm capable. And at one point I said, you need to talk to yourself as if you're talking to your son. You need to talk to yourself like a parent who is trying to give, not trying, who is giving their child the best advice they can. And as it's coming out of my mouth, I realize that I've been really talking to myself about why life is worth living, because I have felt pretty despondent at times, and I didn't expect to feel so low at times, like almost to the point where I just don't care about living. And I know that sounds terrible, but I don't mean it to sound terrible. I mean it to express the level of loss I feel for my son. What our life was maybe gonna be. And I don't think people think of, oh, well, there are no assurances. Like, what would be a scenario or contingency if you lost one of your kids? And the time that I lost Forrest, the way we were connected for the last 5 years, but all our lives, all his life. But there's something about the last 5 years where I was trying to teach him how to be a man, how to be a responsible adult, and to mine their happiness, his happiness, and his intelligence. Stuff like he got into a couple of relationships that didn't turn out to be what he thought they would be. And we talked a lot about that, like, maybe stretch out the courtship twice as long, so you really get a lot of time to figure out who that other person is. And also that's what makes it better and more fun. If you just sleep with somebody right away, or you're all of a sudden, living together right away, art of life, I used to enjoy all that. I used to enjoy thinking that that we succeeded where others had failed, that we were more than just not drug addicts, but we were powerful contributors. You know, that's one of the levels of shock and disappointment, even betrayal, that I feel, because we weren't supposed to be drug addicts and die. When I say we, I feel like I'm joined with him, like a bubble that breaks off and rejoins, or an animal that has two sides. I've been asking myself sometimes, like, why am I working out so hard? And it's because after he died, I felt like I had to be both of us. I don't know why. Like, I felt so disappointed, or I felt so sad for all of the people that counted on him or were inspired by him. How about that? I don't think there was that much pressure on Forrest to be anything he wasn't. You know, I just think he had a taste for heroin that never went away, and it was his true, you know, ace in the hole. Like, he could run to that at some point and revisit, you know, the fairyland. I don't know why he would think that. I don't know. You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't believe that he thought it was okay. Let's put it that way. And if it's not okay, if it's not morally right to do heroin, then it's morally wrong. And I believe, by the way, the word believe and think in Spanish is the same word. Just an interesting factoid. But I believe and I think that he knew it was wrong, because he would tell me everything else that he was struggling with or proud of or even not so proud of. He would share it with me. But not this. And when he was starting to do it again, I remember I got a cold around that time. And forgive me, I have a bit of a cold right now. But and I haven't had one since that time. And I remember telling him during that time, because I wasn't, you know, using any marijuana oil, or I was like really purified my body, and I was saying, oh man, it feels so good. It feels so good not to do that. And he, you know, like to just purify. And he fed me, you know, like, that's great, Dad. Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. I feel the same way. I felt like he had closed himself off right at that time to me, psychically, which is I just felt and I thought it was because I was busy with a production of a project, which was about 6 to 8 weeks of work. And from the distance we were, I was on the phone with him every day, or let's say if not every day, that's not true. It'd be like 2 to 3 days, and then I'd talk to him. But I didn't want to badger him or pester him or be like, someone who didn't trust him. And I was getting him to his dental appointment. I had to do all kinds of stuff to help him do that. Make sure his car was running. I mean, it wasn't like I had to get him to do everything, but there was a few things that I did, like caring for himself, looking forward a little bit. So maybe there's some thing there. My mom would say maybe he knew he was going to die. Maybe he knew he was going to die. He didn't have to die. I'm out here in this town, Douglaston. I did a gig in this country club. And sometimes while I'm playing, I'll be having conversations with him. And one of the conversations I had is like, why the fuck should I even bother? Because you didn't bother. Why should I try to play this tune the best I could play it? Or try to improve myself anymore? What does it matter? Except for some personal entertainment. After he died, I didn't even give a shit if the world improved. He was my next generation to the world. My daughter had so many health problems. Not health problems, like eating disorder. And she is so amazing and so strong now. I mean, she doesn't say that about herself, but it's true. It's so weird that somebody who was so... I thought she might die a few times. And that was a full concentration of my life. When Forrest started doing heroin, I was really I was really on red alert about my daughter. So, but that's life, that's just life. It's not my daughter's fault or my fault. It's just life. You're not supposed to do those stupid drugs. Unless you're saying fuck it. And fuck you to the whole world, because that's what you're doing. It sounds so stupid, but I thought Forrest and I were like partners, He led me to believe that too. Father and a son, but super close. I wanted to play music with him. whatever. I miss him so much. And all I can do is howl.